This is a PodCo original.
You can follow me and I'll follow you. Hey, you want to follow me and Full House Rewind? Okay, just push that follow button and you can. There you go. Oh, I love you for doing that. Thanks. Did you go back to regular school then after, we were done?
Yeah.
How was that for you?
It was really hard. It was really hard. I got bullied a lot.
Because I remember the first table reading that we did, I remember walking out and Stamos was panicking. He was panicking.
He was like legit.
We got to get rid of her.
No, my parents were, I'll never forget going to an event at the White House that I got invited to. My mom and I went and my dad could have gone and he was like, why would I want to do that? And we're like, okay, it's a job. There are days, again, particularly as a kid and as an adult, I'll never forget one episode, Lori had the stomach flu on show night.
Welcome to the first show of the second season of Full House Rewind. I'm your host, Dave Coulier. And our guest today is none other than Jodie Sweetin.
Yay!
Hey!
I don't know why I'm yaying for myself, but that's
hold
okay.
on, I have to say stuff about you. Jodie is a very talented TV and movie actress. You can check out her podcast, How Rude Tanneritos, wherever you get your podcast. She's also doing stand-up comedy at a club somewhere. You know her as Stephanie on Full House and Fuller House. Here's a pic of Jodie when Full House was on the air. Aww, isn't that cute? Hi, Jodes.
Hi, Dave.
Thank you so much for coming on my little show here.
I am so excited to be here. I am so happy that you've been doing your show. It's really funny. I love the interviews.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We have so many, I have so many questions for you.
Yeah.
And we're going to jump into that. But first, we'll be talking a little bit about this Episode 1, as we start off the season. You're perfect to start off the season with.
Yeah.
Also known as Cutting It Close. This episode was directed by our buddy Joel Zweig.
Hey, Joel.
And first aired on ABC on October 14th, 1988. So, Jodes, why don't you give us the rundown on what this episode is about?
Well, Jesse becomes a victim of one of Stephanie's pretend haircuts.
Ooh, if that doesn't pull you in. Man, if that doesn't, if you're scrolling like on
right,
iTunes.
You're like, victim, how? What happens?
Ooh, I'm going to watch this one. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to describe what's happening in this episode together, and I'll start us off. Season 2, episode 1 opens with a teaser in the living room with Joey holding Michelle. He calls the family into the living room and announces that Michelle is ready for another try.
Oh, the family joins hands and sings Ring Around the Rosie, and everyone, except Michelle, falls down at the end of the song. Michelle remains standing and sticks her tongue out.
The opening scene finds Jesse in his room practicing on his guitar. Stephanie enters and turns off his amp. She informs Jesse that it's time for his haircut appointment with Mr. Stephanie.
Oh, Mr. I love it.
Mr. Stephanie. I didn't know.
Love it. Yeah. Stephanie convinces Joey to play beauty parlor and pulls him by the hand into her room. As they enter, we see Joey with curlers in his hair and cotton balls between his toes as he reads, Horton Hears a Who.
Well, Joey gets up from the beauty parlor chair and Jesse sits down. Jesse is alarmed as Stephanie grabs her scissors. She informs Jesse that this is a pretend haircut.
Yeah. As Stephanie pretends to cut Jesse's hair, Joey does his Roger Rabbit impression. Always wonderful. As Stephanie laughs, she inadvertently cuts off a chunk of Jesse's precious hair. Danny and DJ enter and immediately see that Jesse's hair has been cut. Jesse sees the chunk of hair that Stephanie is holding and runs into the bathroom.
Oh boy, panic attack, huh? Yep. Well, the family follows and looks at the piece of chopped hair. Jesse's upset. Jesse is upset and exits. After the family exits, Danny tries to talk to Stephanie about the mistake she made and tells her that she's being too hard on herself.
Yeah. He needed a haircut anyway.
Yeah.
We cut to the living room. Danny reads the newspaper on the couch as Michelle pushes magazines onto the floor. He tries to teach her about organizing the magazines as Joey, DJ, and Stephanie enter. there's a knock at the front door revealing Jesse wearing a motorcycle helmet and full-length casts on both arms. He tells the group that he went to the barber to fix his hair and was so upset that he accidentally wrecked his bike.
That's what you do.
As one does,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you wreck your bike.
You
if
wreck your
hair is
bike,
bad.
not your face, though.
No, not at all.
Not at
'Cause, that's what protective gear is all about. You kids out there, wear a
Yeah.
helmet. Stephanie is upset.
Stephanie's upset.
And exits upstairs as Jesse tries to feed himself in the kitchen. Well, DJ enters and offers to help. We see that Jesse's attempts at feeding himself are futile as Danny enters with Michelle. Michelle watches Jesse as he tries to feed himself some cereal. Danny enters and starts to feed Jesse.
We smash cut into a montage of the entire family trying to help Jesse with his daily routine. We see Danny in the kitchen dust-busting the vacuum cleaner. As Steph and DJ enter, Jesse exits to the backyard.
Well, Danny enters the backyard where we see Jesse looking at his wrecked motorcycle.
Oh.
Danny tells Jesse that he needs to talk to Stephanie. Stephanie enters the backyard, and her and Jesse have a heart-to-heart talk about making mistakes.
Aww.
Jesse asks Stephanie to help him write some songs.
Aww.
Very cute.
That's really, and like a cute little premonition of what happens in Fuller and kind of who Steph becomes.
Absolutely,
I like that.
yes.
They end the scene with a hug as we go upstairs to see Jesse in Michelle's room. Michelle sits in her crib as Jesse talks to her about making some changes in his life. Jesse calls out to Joey for help, revealing that he needs assistance in going to the bathroom. They exit as Michelle waves goodbye from her crib.
Oh, man, and that is the end of episode 1 of season 2, cutting it close. Anything come to mind? Like, what comes to mind as we recap that episode? Anything?
I mean, I definitely remember the haircut scene.
Yeah.
I remember my little smock as Mr. Stephanie. And yeah, I remember, you know, the wig that was on John's
Where's
head.
my wig?
Where's my wig? But, you know, John had already cut his hair, obviously. So what he had on in the beginning of the show was
Yeah.
a wig.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to tell, I know.
Yeah,
But
well, yeah.
but yeah, there was a big chunk out of that. And also the chunk of hair that comes off of the wig is gigantic.
It's gigantic,
in
yeah.
comparison to what it looks like she cut.
Yes, yes. And we nicknamed John Mud because he used to put so much of this
So
mud
much stuff.
product in his hair.
What it was in a tin.
Yes.
And it was just
Mud.
It was just a scoop and like a and
Yes.
yeah, and it
Yes.
was mud. Yeah.
Yeah. And it looked like he was running at over 120 miles per hour. Just,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wind blown. So, Jodes, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
I want to start at the beginning because our fans will love hearing this stuff. I'll bet a lot of them don't know really how you started and made your way to Full House. Just kind of take us back to little Jodie being 4 years old, and
Yeah.
how do you connect to Full House?
Well, you know, I was really fortunate in that I didn't ever audition for Full House. I just sort of, I wound up getting cast through this really awesome series of events where my first television job was on The Hogan Family, which
Right.
was with Jason Bateman and Valerie Harper. And I played the next door neighbor's niece, Pamela Poole. And it was the same producers. It was Miller Boyette
Right.
and Rich Carell and, you know, a lot of the same people that wound up working on Full House that were in pre-production for that show at the time. And they sent a tape of me as Pamela to Jeff, and he saw it and was like, "That's Stephanie."
That's her.
Yeah.
Because you probably stole the show, which you were. You were able to. You've always had this natural comedic timing, which is insane. Because, but to have that at 5 years old is even more insane, right? And I remember thinking, when we would do table reads, I am working with Shirley Temple. This is like, this is insane. Like this little girl is like Sid Caesar, like crazy, like the timing.
Thank you.
I mean, where did that come from? Did you watch comedies as a little girl? Like,
No,
how did this happen?
I don't know. And it's funny because there's a story that my mom always tells. My grandmother and I had birthdays very close to each other, and on my first birthday, we had a birthday cake, and it had it was shared between me and my grandma. And they put trick candles on my grandma's birthday cake, and I just thought it was hilarious.
The kind where you try to blow them out and they keep
blow them
lighting.
out and they come back. But I would I'd see it and I'd it wasn't like I just it was like I'd wait a beat and be like, yeah, there we go. And my mom was like, you just weirdly got what was funny at from the age of 1 year old.
My daughter just did a sketch.
Right. Yeah. But it was true. I mean, I would do sketches. I would make up commercials. I loved dancing. I would, run into the middle of the room with a harmonica and just make up a song and a weird little dance and then run back out of the room. And it was like,
Of course.
I called it just my little, my Jodie commercials.
Of course you did. Yes.
Or there was a story about Chicken Land that was where I came from, was Chicken Land. And I made up on the spot an entire story about how I was hatched in Chicken Land at 3.5 years old. My uncle has this on video. And just telling the story about Chicken Land.
So many more things about you are starting to make sense now.
Yeah. I was
I'm
hatched.
starting to put that piece. I think that was kind of one of the final pieces.
Yeah.
From
Now you know.
I get it.
I was hatched from an egg.
Because it really is insane that you, as a little girl, came into this gigantic environment of sitcom with Warner Brothers, Lorimar Studios, with some real comedy pros.
Yeah.
And you kind of stole the show. Because I remember the first table reading that we did, I remember walking out and Stamos was panicking. He was panicking. He
was like legit.
We got to get rid of her. She's the star of the show. I got to get out of this, So he was panicking. I'm like, and I'd never been on a sitcom. I'd guested on sitcoms, but I was never one of the pieces of a sitcom. I'm like, what do I do? Do I tell them okay?
I don't know.
What do I do here?
Am I supposed to agree with you or not?
But
am I on board with getting a 5-year-old fired or not?
Yeah, but my thought was, this is great, because being a comedian, I'm like, that is another important part of the puzzle, that these kids can get the jokes.
Right.
And she's nailing it. So I was fine with it. I was great with it.
I will say, having a natural affinity towards comedy and towards stand-up and towards the sort of humor that I do, but also just the quickness with which I've always I'm always looking for the joke.
Yeah.
As a kid, I'm just always looking for the joke, and to grow up in such an incredibly comedy rich and comedy history rich environment.
Yeah.
Around comedians like you and Bob, and then all of the people that you guys introduced me to, Binder and Bill Burr, and all of these amazing, Jeff Ross, amazing comedians that have been family friends through so much of knowing you guys. And I always am so thankful for that, because it has really shaped such a huge part of my personality. And I mean, to have that ability is really a gift. I mean, it really, really is. Mark Sandrowski, our stage manager in season 2, and now he's, we were talking about that, but for us, our group that we were around was comedy albums. So we would listen to Richard Pryor and George Carlin and Cosby records, and that was, what I grew up watching specials.
That's what we had,
much to my mom's probably disappointment,
Yes. And
Eddie Murphy
again,
was in there somewhere.
And again, it's starting to make more sense. Your mom, but let's talk about her for a second. She wasn't your typical stage mom.
Not at all.
Your mom is lovely.
Janice
wonderful. Janice is so great. But here's the thing. Even being around that showbiz environment, she really kept you grounded.
For sure.
She kept you so grounded. So I just, I want to know, I guess it was probably, it kind of had to be a conscious decision that she made, you're going to be around a professional environment with a lot of adults, but you were always prepared and ready. And
I mean, my mom,
that had to be your mom.
My mom, oh yeah, for sure, because I'm never prepared or ready for anything usually on my own. But no, my mom was, both my parents came from very normal backgrounds. I mean, my dad's story of being born in post-Depression Oklahoma and moving out here, and
Sam.
But yeah, my dad worked.
Good guy.
Just salt of the earth.
Yep.
Worked the entire time I was on a television show at a gypsum plant. Like that was just what he did. He got up, he went to work. My mom was a stay-at-home mom before that, and she just took on the job of driving me back and forth every day.
Yeah.
But we didn't live in LA. It was show business, and being on camera was never something that either of my parents wanted for themselves, which is something that you see a lot in this business, which is the typical stage parent of they somehow want the fame or the recognition, or it's something that they wanted to do when they were young. And my parents just were not like that. They saw in me that I loved it.
Can I just add this, and correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
They didn't seem really impressed with the whole environment.
No.
They were there for you.
Exactly.
And when they were there, like your dad would come on show night.
Right.
And I would just talk to him because he was just like a normal guy. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's kind of nice just talking to a normal guy.
Yeah.
And, he wouldn't ask me like, how's the show going?
No.
He'd be like, you still playing hockey?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking.
No, my parents were, I'll never forget going to an event at the White House that I got invited to. My mom and I went, and my dad could have gone, and he was like, why would I want to do that? And we're like, okay, but that I grew up with such grounded, normal parents, and I went to public school in Orange County.
Yeah.
Not at a school where, I was the only kid on TV at my public school in elementary school, but that was great. And I have consistently kind of kept that part of my life. Most of the people that I spend time with on a daily basis aren't necessarily in the business. I like my space away from it.
Yeah, let's talk about that. How was it going to school, regular school, and then going to school on set, and then did you go back to regular school then after we were done?
Yeah.
How was that for you?
It was really hard. It was really hard. I got bullied a lot. I mean, I was, in elementary 5 to 13. So it's all of your elementary and middle school years that was what I was doing. And strangely enough, though, because when I started school, I started kindergarten on the show and was there for 2 days and went into first grade. And I never had any experience of school outside of also being on the show.
Right.
So after a couple seasons when we worked out our schedule and I could go to school in the morning and then go to rehearsal in the afternoon and then 2 days a week I did, on school set.
Yeah.
It was, I realize now, a great balance for me because I definitely had ADHD and I needed that I needed that singular focus, but I also needed the outlet of normal kids and that environment and just being a kid.
Yeah.
But it was hard. I mean, middle school, God, I remember, getting just punched in the face for no reason. Somebody walk by, throw an apple at your head from across the quad, write horrible things on your locker, steal your stuff. I had a teacher once tell me, you can be an actor, you can be a student, but you can't do both in my class. And he wouldn't give me my work.
Wow.
And
oh man, that's brutal.
Yeah. And I, being who I am one of those people that's like, oh no, you're not going to win. I'm going to stay right here. And that's who and how I've always been is no one is going to take away from me the opportunities that I want to have in my life. And that was one that I wanted to have, was to have a normal kid experience. And so if 4 or 5 kids were going to be idiots, I wasn't going to let them take that away from me.
And was it because they knew the show? The kids would watch
they were
the show.
obsessed with the show. Yeah. And, kids my first day at any new school, and I had gone to several different schools, but my first day at any new school, it was the entire class just following you around.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, desperately I just want to
no autographs, please.
Well, no, it was as a kid. I just remember thinking I just desperately wanted to be like a beige wall. You know what I mean? Just please let me blend in. I don't want to stick out. But then also kind of having to reconcile with that in real time as a kid and be like, well, am I gonna give up or do I keep going and go? No, and that has, I really think, shaped a huge part of me.
Mm-hmm, sure.
And just kind of who I've always been. And I just never, I was like, I'm not going to let anyone make me give up.
So growing up in Orange County,
Mm-hmm.
and you're so close kind of to Hollywood, because
Right.
I grew up in Michigan and Hollywood is another
Right.
world.
Right.
But you're kind of here in Southern
Yeah.
California. Was there this great mystique for you about Hollywood and, but you started so young,
Yeah,
it probably was just natural for
I
you.
started so young,
Right.
and performing and acting and dancing and all of that has always been something I've loved so much. It was just like, cool, wait, I get to go like do this, and
Yeah.
like I don't have to be like doing the same thing all the time, and I can go have fun with these. Yes, please.
Yeah, because Hollywood was weird when I first got here,
Right.
and then it's still incredibly weird to
It's
me.
super weird.
It's just weird and weird and weird.
It is super weird, and again, because I had sort of like a foot in quote unquote normal life, whatever that is,
Yeah.
but normal life outside of this business, I had that perspective of like, this isn't real life. Like
Right.
this is weird,
That's-
and it's
that's
not
incredible
real
to-
people.
That's incredible to have that.
Well, my parents were
especially-
very much like, look, this is great for right now, but always remember, like, this isn't forever. And
Yeah.
at some point, you will have to be you
yeah,
without all of this,
Right,
you know?
right.
And so it was like,
incredible
yeah, I had to
kudos.
learn how to be me in every situation.
Incredible kudos to your mom and your dad.
Yeah.
But you were always so professional. So when you were riding with your mom
Yeah.
from Orange County, were you like, because you would show up and be off book. And what that means is Jodie would know all of her lines from the script, right? So were you running lines with your mom in the car on the way there?
Yeah, I'd
Because
just be running, like, I'd just be going over my script in the car.
I couldn't do that.
And, well, I also wasn't driving, so that was a lot easier. But
That's true.
But yeah, I would go over the script with my mom. Like, I would just say my lines and then read the in-between parts and just say my stuff out loud. But I've always been really fortunate. I have not an eidetic photographic memory, but I can definitely picture words, and words come very easily to me and memorizing.
And you're
so.
a voracious reader.
Yeah.
You read like
Yeah,
how many
I'm
books?
still in a book club. Oh, it's interesting. I don't read as many books as I used to, but I've started reading more and more again because I just love it. But I also read a lot of like long form news articles and watch a lot of documentaries. I'm kind of a nerd, so.
Yeah. As Johnny Carson used to say, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Can you stick around? So you're playing the middle sister on the show.
Yep.
And you're kind of in that, that in-between age between like Mary-Kate and Ashley and Candace.
Right.
Like, did you bond more? I think I know the answer to this question already, but, for our fans, did you bond more with Mary-Kate and Ashley or Candace, do you think?
I think definitely Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Yeah.
Because
you guys did a lot of stuff together.
We did a lot of stuff together. And I think it's that age, when Candace was 10 when she started the show and I was 5, she's heading into that like preteen, teen, you're lame, get away from me.
Yeah.
And she also was the baby of her family. And it always rolls downhill. So she basically, and she told me this, she was like, look, I got it all from my older siblings, and then you came along and you were like the next available person to just be like, ew, you're lame.
Pass it on.
And so that was sort of, we definitely had that sister dynamic. And it's funny because I watch, the Oat Boat episode or something like that, and I can see us like, we're actually like having this sister moment. And it's really funny. We definitely grew up like sisters.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Me trying to tell stupid jokes and her being like, oh my gosh, come on, Andrea, let's go be cool, 12-year-olds over here.
Yeah, well-
and so I would hang out with Ashley and Mary-Kate because then I got to be the older sibling and I was an only child.
Always rolls downhill.
Right. So, and I loved being the older child, but I also I was like very much caretaking and loved doing stuff like
Yeah.
that. But, Ashley, Mary-Kate and I got into it. We would act like siblings too. It was like having
was cute.
a big family that I got to learn all of those life lessons with on screen and off.
Yeah, yeah. And me, John, and Bob became brothers.
Yeah.
Just like you guys became
Yeah.
sisters, me, John, and Bob, thick as thieves,
Yeah.
like brothers. Did you think me and Bob were nuts?
No, I loved it. Oh my gosh. It was so wonderful for me because again, like I loved that energy. I didn't get the jokes, but I knew there was something there and
Yeah.
I was like absorbing the timing and listening and the banter back and forth. it was like a thrill for me as a kid because that's how my brain worked. And, I love my parents and they're funny and wonderful, but they don't have that sort of, but they're not as dark as you guys, but they're also, it's just not that comedic, like, let's keep going and keep going.
Let's just keep going with it until we run it into the ground.
Right. And that is how my brain works. And so it was like, it was sort of a window for me to be like, there's other people whose brains also work like mine.
Yeah, because we tried to be so careful.
You guys would,
we tried.
You tried. I get it. As an adult on Fuller, I tried.
And you got kids, so
I got kids. So I try, but sometimes they're there and you don't know it, or sometimes it's funny and you say it and you go, that probably wasn't great.
Because even though
but you said it and you go, I just hope you're funny.
because even though we tried, we got in trouble with the moms quite a bit, with Barbara Cameron and
that was the monitor's
and Janice and and Jarney and Adria.
I will say that was the monitor's fault though, because you guys would be rehearsing.
Yes.
A lot of times, and on tape days,
you guys were gone.
We were gone, but we were backstage in our dressing rooms getting ready, and the monitors were on. And so, while we weren't present, you guys didn't realize we could see what you were doing. And so, I think that was most of the time when you were like, you didn't know. I'm so sorry. It really was.
Because I remember we were going off on something, and I remember all three of the moms came out and went, "Really, guys?"
Yeah, the monitors are on.
Oh, the monitors are on. Oh, why didn't somebody tell us? Anybody, please?
You don't think about it. You're like, whatever's in the room.
So must have made those rides home. Did your mom say, just stay away from those guys? They're kind of nuts.
No, not at all. Because you guys also loved and cared about us.
Yeah, we did.
Like family. And so, my mom trusted you guys. She knew that you were crazy uncles, but she never.
We loved you guys.
You were family.
And we still love you guys.
Exactly. You were family. It was never. The moms knew that, no matter what stupid joke you were making, it was because it was funny. And it wasn't ever because you didn't have any consideration for the kids. It was that you weren't aware that they were there or whatever. And so, our moms trusted you guys and loved you guys. And you were just the uncles that occasionally, said some stupid stuff.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Did your mom ever take you through the business about what we were doing? Like, hey, Jodie, we got picked up for 13 episodes. We could get a back 9. Did she ever go through that with you at all?
I'm sure she did.
Because it sounds like she really kind of kept your expectations grounded.
For sure.
She was very cognizant of that.
Yeah, she was very cognizant. And even throughout the whole run of the show, I remember my mom always saying to me, as long as you love this, as long as this is fun, as long as this is what you want to do, if you go through a hiatus and you absolutely hate it and you just can't go back, tell me and we will figure it out. That's amazing. And that was never the thing. So I always knew this was my choice. This was, of course, had it come, push to shove. There's contracts and things like that. But my mom made me feel like she was there for me. And, I knew that. And I knew that she was also balancing okay, there were days when I was like, I don't feel good. And she was like, baby, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was, she always says, those were the hardest things as a mom, is to know that there are days that you've got to put the production and tell your kid I know, and this sucks, but this is having a job. And I'm grateful for it because it taught me some incredible work ethic. But it was,
and there's that,
she had a balance.
There's that old showbiz saying, don't work with animals or kids, but that couldn't have been further away from our experience, because we loved you guys so much. We watched out for you. You were like our own, our own kids in a way. Were. And you seem to handle it because it's business. Yeah. It's business, and there are network execs and studio execs and people that expect you to perform, hit your mark, deliver your line, and be professional. You just seemed like you were having a ball. You were so carefree about it in such a tough environment. And like you said, some days, aren't great. It's tough. You're a kid.
It's a job. There are days, again, particularly as a kid and as an adult, I'll never forget one episode. Lori had like the stomach flu on show night. And she's doing a scene, and then she'd run back and just be super sick.
Yeah.
And we like had to shoot her scenes out or something and send her home. But like, this is what you do, and this is how it is. But I have never once stopped loving it, even in those moments when I'm on cold meds and sleeping on the floor of whatever location I'm at, because I'm like, I just have to get through the rest of this day. I still absolutely love what I do because the excitement of performing and like doing it is so much fun. And I do have a very clear idea of like, it doesn't make me who I am. It's what I love to do. So there is this sort of carefree attitude of like,
yeah, you've always had
I'll be
that.
all right.
You've always had that, which I love about you. Because we had an unusual crew. Let's talk about some of the crew people. We had Sean, Critter, Cannonball, Property Bob. And those guys, I guess
we had to call him Property Bob because that was at the same time that we had, of course, Bob Saget, Bob the dog,
Bob Squire
in wardrobe, and then Bob as props. So when you said Bob, 3 men and a dog turned their head, and we had to start clarifying.
Hey, I got an idea for a sitcom.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
3 men and a dog.
Right.
My gosh, we could talk for hours. We will talk for hours if we don't stop.
Yeah.
Can I get you to come back and do another episode?
I would love to.
And our fans would love it. I would love it. We still have some fun stuff to do.
Ooh, fun stuff.
Some fun stuff. All right. We like to play a little game on this show.
Oh.
So can you play a little game with me?
I can definitely play a game.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask you some questions.
All right.
And okay, here we go. This is one of my favorite segments too. This game is called I Harley Know You. In this episode, Jesse wrecks his Harley motorcycle, and I'm going to ask you some questions about some famous bikes.
Okay.
And we're going to see how many you get correct. But regardless, you're still going to win.
Okay, good, because I'm really competitive, and I just needed to know that was still the case. Okay.
I guarantee you,
okay,
you're still
going to
win.
famous bikes.
Mm-hmm,
I'm already thinking of some. All
you
right.
ready? Okay, here's question 1. The first question is a true or false question.
Got it.
Did John Stamos ever ride motorcycles in real life?
I feel like that's false. Or, no, true. Like, false that he rode a motorcycle. True that he did not in real life.
Is that what you're going with?
I feel like I should change my answer now.
You can, because you can win.
He did, yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
he did. Of
all
course.
the time. He was on a motorcycle all the time.
Yes, all the time. Yes. He actually owned a couple of Harley motorcycles during and after Full House. He used to do this ride out there in Calabasas and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you're winning.
I'm winning.
You're
Great.
winning. Okay, here we go. Question 2, the rock group Queen recorded a song about bicycles. One of the lyrics is, "Fat bottom girls, they'll be riding today, so look out for those beauties."
Right.
Was the song titled Big Bottom Biker Babes, Beauty on Two Wheels, or Bicycle Race?
Oh. I'm going to say bicycle race.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes,
see, you're still winning.
You know what? B was going to be very upset at me if I did not know that answer, because she has been to see Queen. And she was Freddie Mercury
really?
at her school talent show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, her dad. I will say her dad has taken her to see some amazing concerts.
Wow.
Yeah.
With Freddie Mercury? Like, she wasn't born yet?
No, she wasn't born yet. No, that would be a past life experience.
That would be,
But the more recent ones.
She would have been projected.
And she could sing along. Yeah, she knows.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't know that. All right, question 3. In 1974, this man tried to jump a rocket-powered motorcycle almost a quarter mile.
Evel Knievel.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yay!
ding, ding, ding. You want to hear who the other choices were?
Yes.
Charles Nelson Riley. I can't believe it.
I'm sure your audience really knows. There's like 7 people that know who that is.
That's why I do it. It's for those 7 people.
Those 7 people.
Yeah, the other one was Bob Hope. Yeah, isn't that marvelous? People probably don't even know Bob Hope anymore.
They don't even know Bob Hope. They're just like, why are you acting like the Tiger King and purring?
Evel Knievel, that was 50 years ago.
Wow.
That was 1974.
Wow.
Question 4. You're winning, by the way.
I love trivia because my random knowledge is...
It's all that book reading. It's all that book
all the
reading.
book
You've
and random
absorbed.
article reading where I'm like, give me something useless. And I'm
Long-form news right
Yep.
there. It's all coming back. Okay, question 4. Here we go. The Guinness World Record for most people on a motorcycle is 17 by a group of pygmies in Australia, 24 set by the Jamaican bobsled team, or 58 set by the Indian Army.
I'm going to go 58, the Indian Army.
Ding, 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 ding,
Because
ding.
they have like a lot of the pole and gymnastic stuff in their culture, and so that weird pyramid building of humans is something that they actually do.
See, you put all the pieces together. A lot of our contestants, they don't go that deep.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
Just telling you.
useless random information.
Useless. Well, it's very useless, very useful now.
Yeah.
Okay, here's our final question. All right. Here's another John Stamos question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, John started a movie in 1991 where the U.S. Army recruits him to train their new motorcycle squad for an important mission. Was the movie titled Wheel Trouble, Bike Squad, or Born to Ride?
Born to Ride.
Ding, ding, ding. Aced it. Oh, man. You're a winner. Okay, another winner.
Yay!
Chicken dinner.
Winner,
Here we
winner,
go.
chicken dinner.
Here's your prizes, a cut-it-out hat.
Oh,
and
yes.
another cut-it-out T-shirt.
I love it.
And, oh, man.
I'm actually really glad you got me a new T-shirt because my old one I have washed and worn so many times around my house that it had holes in the armpits.
You know, well, don't be wearing
can't do
shirts
that.
with
No.
holes in your armpits.
God,
oh,
no.
my gosh. And congratulations on winning. I told you
Thank
were
you.
going to win.
That's the best part of my day.
I knew you were going to win. Of course, every episode of Full House had a heartfelt scene, and we have cut out a scene from season 2, episode 1 that we're going to read together.
Cut it out.
So,
I
Jodes,
can't wait.
Jodes, there's your script. You got it over there?
Oh, I got it. I actually still have it memorized. No, I'm just kidding.
Of course you do, because you rode here with your mom. You know,
I
everyone's
did. I
line.
rode here all the way
Rode
from
here
Orange
with
County with my
Janice.
mom. Yep. Thanks, Mom.
I'm going to be playing the role of Jesse, and doggone it, you're going to be playing the role of Stephanie. I hope you can.
Oh, I thought we were going to reverse it.
I
but
hope you can pull this off.
I think I can. I think I can.
Yeah, because, yeah. Okay, here we go. Ready? Hey, babe.
Hi.
You can come a little closer.
I better not. I'm dangerous. Why you hate me?
Stephanie Judith Tanner, I do not hate you.
Then why are you yelling and being so grouchy and telling Daddy to slam doors?
Because I'm frustrated. Hey, you know what?
What?
I've been feeling sorry for myself. And I've been acting like a baby, and I didn't mean to blame you. I'm very sorry.
You mean you're really not mad at me?
No. Stephanie, you made one little mistake. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. I mean, look at me. I'm an expert bike rider. I've never had one problem. I missed one little sign, boom. The mummy man. Same deal with you. I mean, how many pretend haircuts have you given?
Counting yours? Millions.
See, you're an expert too. But you made one little mistake. Stephanie, I promise, I'm going to be good as new. Okay?
Okay.
All right, now you get over here and you give me the world's biggest hug. Come on, lay it on me, baby. What, do I have the cooties or something? Come here. Sit on my lap. All right, hey, easy. Go ahead. There you go. All right, now. All right, I'm going to need your help.
What do you mean?
Well, since I can't play my music, I was thinking on working on some lyrics. That is, if you could write them down for me.
I could do that. I mean, if you could write about dog, tree, cat, or Stephanie.
Well, can you spell baby?
B-A-B-Y.
Good, then we have a hit. You know what the best part about you helping me is?
What?
I get to spend more time with my little buddy.
So glad you broke your arms.
And they hug, but he's got casts on. Hey,
Hey, what?
you're bugging me and I'm not even hurting. You're hugging me. You're bugging me. You're hugging me and I'm not even hurting.
You're right. The curse is broken. Have mercy.
And the scene ends. And boy, yes, there it is. There's the music. Always brings a tear to my eye. Tea to my eye too. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the beautiful Jodie Sweetin.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thousands of people
Thousands.
cheering
Look at the,
and
look at
going
the crowd.
crazy. Here's some of my thoughts about Season 2, Episode 1. We started Season 2 with a heck of a lot more confidence. Our ratings were up and, well, we knew that audiences were falling in love with the Tanner family. The kids on the show were also a little bit older, so we could do more funny scenes with Mary Kate and Ashley, and the subject matter could move forward with Jodie and Candace. Seemed like John and I spent the whole darn summer together. We even went to Hawaii on a vacation together with Jeff Franklin. Bob and I would continue to do stand-up gigs on weekends that we had free. There was definitely an upward trend in the ticket sales at the comedy clubs as our exposure on television increased. Early on in Season 2, my oldest sister Karen came out to Los Angeles to visit me. It was the first time, well, she'd ever been on a major studio lot or a sitcom soundstage. My mom and her husband Tom also came out to visit me during Season 2. They couldn't have been more proud. My dad, on the other hand, didn't like to travel and preferred to watch Full House from the comfort of his living room. My dad was a Chrysler guy in Detroit, so showbiz was something that you read about in the TV Guide magazine. I never thought my dad cared very much about my career. It was only after he passed away that my wife, Melissa, and I discovered a drawer at his house, that the house I grew up in, filled with articles about Full House. I guess this kid from St. Clair Shores, Michigan, had made his pops proud after all. And those are some of my thoughts and memories about the beginning of Full House Season 2. We'd like to hear your thoughts about Full House. Tell us about your favorite episode or just why you love the show so much. Or maybe you've got a question for me. Send us an email with the link at socials@podco.us. We close every episode of Full House Rewind by giving all of you who need it a hug. This week, our hug goes out to all of you who sometimes don't feel like you're getting enough recognition from your parents. My mom was my biggest supporter throughout my entire career. But like I said earlier, I thought my dad didn't care. But in his own quiet way, I was in his thoughts. It was only after he was gone that I figured out that he didn't want me to feel special compared to my brothers and sisters. So he kept his accolades to himself, not wanting to play favorites. Once in a while, I'd ask, "What do you think about Full House, Dad?" And he'd just say, "Pretty good," or "Not bad." I didn't understand it at the time, and sometimes I felt hurt. The gift of time has given me a greater understanding of the old man. We all want to be loved and revered by our parents. Sometimes it's just tough to figure it all out. So for all of you who feel the same, give it time. But for now, here's a big drawer filled with accolades for you and your Full House hug from me. All right, bring it in. Here we go. That's our show. We'd like to thank our special guest, Jodie Sweetin, for stopping by. Join us next time here on Full House Rewind, and you can watch all of our episodes on our Full House Rewind YouTube channel. So long, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Full House Rewind. We'll see you next week.